Hello, how are you doing? Welcome back to some more F1 2021 and another part of our Immersive Driver Career Mode with Mercedes. We are in Season 5 of our playthrough. We are fighting for the championship, and it's been going really well recently, and I do want to start off with a bit of an apology. We're 80 episodes into this series now, and last episode I messed up quite a bit. And what I mean by that is there were quite a few mistakes from my behalf, going wide at corners and whatever, picking up warnings, eventually crashing into Max Verstappen. And admittedly, I used a few flashbacks, and quite a couple of them were caught on camera as well. So yeah, I messed up, and a few people in the comments sort of calling out that it takes away from the immersive nature of the career mode. And I completely agree with you. The whole point of this career was to try and be as realistic as possible from a driver perspective. And, that's me getting a little bit too comfortable in this series, and ultimately really wanting to beat Max Verstappen this season, or in that race in particular, because that was a big one for us. We wanted to maximise that Grand Prix to catch up to Lewis Hamilton, and we're just not at that stage yet. And yeah, I went a bit overboard. I've always been a big believer of leaving the flashbacks in there for the so-called BS penalties that we get now and again, and if I was speeding in the pit lane, that sort of thing. But no, what I'm gonna it did get a little bit ridiculous, and that's not what this series is about. So what we are about to do is, if I can still do it, if I can still work out how to do it, we are going to turn off flashbacks completely. So if we do get a penalty, then we just have to deal with that. We know that F1 isn't always a fair sport in terms of that. We don't want assists. We want simulation settings. We have got everything else on simulation, and everything as hard as it can be on that screen, except this. So we are going to turn off flashbacks complete. Oh, is it recovery mode? Auto reset to track? No, that's fine. So no flashbacks. 95 AI, a few of you have been asking about that recently. That is what we are on. So that is where we're going to be at with it. The rules and flags, by the way, all of that is on. I have got safety car on increased. Everything's on strict. All of that is there, as clear as day. These are the career settings that I've been working off. So we haven't had any R&D management, anything like that, and we have had the fault frequency on standard, which is the highest it can be, and fault types on the most severe that they can be. So yeah, there you go. I wanted to start off with that because branding this an immersive driver career and then flashbacking 3 times in one episode was probably a little bit too far, and it reached a breaking point, and we'll reset it now. I've always prided myself on being completely transparent with everybody, but that's where we're at. So we're at the Italian Grand Prix this weekend, obviously a track that we've had good success at in the past. Last year we won this Grand Prix and got the fastest lap. The year before we won the Grand Prix, I believe, from the back of the grid. I believe that was the case. The season before that, we were certainly in the podium positions, but DNF'd. It was a tough season with Ferrari. Lots of DNFs that year. And then season 1, we managed to finish in 8th position for Alpine. So that is where we're at. That's what we're looking at. And this is the championship situation. So we are 11 points behind Lewis Hamilton. Of course, last time out, finishing 7th. After the last lap incident with Max Verstappen. So we will see how it goes. It is pretty much a 2-horse race. I don't think Ocon and Verstappen are going to be in it. We've got 3 races to go. It's still very much in our hands. So let's go out there. Let's see if we can stick it on pole. Well, here we come up to the line at the start of Q1. It's not a brilliant time. And we were pretty much trapped behind Christian Lundgaard for the duration of that. So 1:18.1, that is certainly not going to be good enough to be comfortable in Q1. So we need to go through this second lap now. Yuki Tsunoda has gone quickest. I don't know what his time was, but certainly quicker than us. And George Russell is quicker than us in the Williams. A little bit of bodywork damage there, but still should be.
There's been some damage to the underbody. We're recommending you come in so we can make repairs.
Yeah, that's good. 2/10 up. Our previous time, of course, we are going to lose a little bit of time on the straights because we're managing to have a hole punched in the air by Christian Lundgaard.
Less than a lap of fuel now. The tank is empty.
But I think through this final corner, that's where you're going to see the biggest increase here. As we're able to throw it in properly. But it's only going to be 3/10 or so, which isn't massive. It's certainly not massive. Now, do we have enough? No, we don't have enough fuel. We are actually out of fuel. So only 5th, which is quicker than Sebastian Vettel and Giovinazzi. So in theory, should have enough, but we can't turn the car. So I was going to try and go through the arrows there, but we're going to just stop out on track and... Oh, not the instant replay, we don't want that. But that was quite funny, really, trying to get through there. Couldn't do it. I have definitely seen cars in real life go through that little section. But, yeah. Very good. Okay.
Car repairs have set us back a little.
I mean, let's see if that is going to get us through. I mean, Lewis Hamilton only a 10th quickest, so perhaps it's a Mercedes issue rather than anything else. Both Williams quicker than us. Mick Schumacher currently the quickest in the McLaren, but it is looking quite like we are going to go through. So let's just stay in our garage and see. There you go, comfortably through in the end, but Mick Schumacher quickest in Q1 for McLaren, and by a long way as well. Yuki Tsunoda there in P2, Ocon 3rd, Gasly in 4th, Latifi 5th, Perez 6th, Russell 7th. That's a very strange top 7. Hamilton, Hannard and Verstappen. It's 9th and 10th. Well, here we come then, round the final corner for our first lap in Q2. It's not going to be great. It's a 17.6, which that might not be good enough to get through to Q3.
Less than a lap of
5
fuel
tenths
now.
off
The tank is empty.
Yuki Tsunoda. It was quicker time than our Q1 attempt, but we're just not quite there yet with our laps. We are slightly up here, so we might as well try and finish this. Well, there you go again. We're catching that inside
some
curve.
to the underbody. We're recommending you come in so we can make repairs.
A massive amount in this Grand Prix weekend. We did it so much in practice. We're doing it again in qualifying, and we haven't been doing that in the past. So, have they potentially made that curb a little bit trickier in a recent patch? But yeah, currently 9th after the first run, so
car repairs have
we know
set us back a
Schumacher's
little.
pretty quick, although Schumacher hasn't done a good job so far in Q2, so he's going to have to go out again. Lando Norris not doing a fantastic job either, so we're going to go out there and let's take you on a lap of Monza. Can we get ourselves through to Q3? That is going to be the question. We're going to be probably the last one over the line that can make a difference. Both McLarens are out there. Both Williams cars are out there. And an Alpine
we think we may see some
as well.
rain. ETA is about 15 minutes.
Could have some rain at the end of Q3 as well. So that's something to bear in mind. Here we go. Lap of Monza. It's not a great start to this lap, it's, to be honest. Well, we have managed to gain a little bit of time in this first sector. Really important braking points coming up. We don't want to catch that curb too heavy. We did a little bit, but not too much. Caught a little bit on the exit curb, which slowed us down a little bit.
If we don't get into 10th or higher,
this
we
is
won't progress to the
going
shootout.
wrong.
Give
This
it your
is
best
going
shot.
wrong. We're down to 12th here. Unless we can gain a load of time through Ascari and Parabolica, but we've gone very wide there, and there it is, invalidated. So we are out in Q2 here in Monza, and that was a very poor lap to finish off. We're usually a very, very good qualifier. Not today, though.
Stopping this lap.
And, well, speeding in the pit lane there. Hopefully we don't do that tomorrow, but that is not what we wanted. That is very disappointing. And that is going to hold us back tomorrow in the race. You feel our race pace should be a little bit stronger, but yeah, back into the garage feeling very, very disappointed there. 12th position on the grid for tomorrow. Max Verstappen on pole. Oh, fastest in that session, Hamilton there. I mean, we realistically probably only had another 0.3 or so in it. So, yeah, I don't know where our pace has gone this weekend. I really don't. It's we're a long way ahead of Vettel, Latifi and Giovinazzi. But other than that, we're struggling. But hopefully we can bring it back in the race.
Welcome back to one of only two countries that has held a race every year since the very first Formula One World Championship in 1950. It is, of course, Italy, one of the great racing nations. And it's time to get underway for the Italian Grand Prix. We're 12 miles northeast of Milan for today's Grand Prix at a Monza circuit where we can expect top speeds of around 215 miles per hour. 11 corners on this 3.6 mile track, with 7 of those coming in the form of chicanes. And with a good slipstream and DRS open, there should be plenty of opportunity for some passing here today. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he starts from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Ocon, Norris, Pierre Gasly and Russell, Tsunoda, Leclerc, Perez and Mick Schumacher, Fernando Alonso, the captain, Sebastian Vettel and Latifi, Giovinazzi, Joe, Lance Stroll and Christian Lundgaard, Eilert and Nikita Mazepin. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head to trackside for today's race.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
Well, here we are on the grid then. Lewis Hamilton only second on the grid, so it's not all over for us. I do think we probably want to go long on these soft tyres and try and overcut the field. That probably is the best thing to do. The other option is come in nice and early on medium tyres. Let's have a little look at the rest of the grid. Is anybody on medium tyres out there? No, they're not. So do we switch it around and try and do something different? We go medium for 4 laps, and then stint 2 we stick on a set of softs. That could be the strategy. That could be the strategy. And by the end of the race, we should have very, very decent lap times. Yeah. I think that's what we want to do. We want to be quicker in that middle stint so we can really start putting the pressure on and give ourselves a bit of clear air as well. I think that could be useful. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do something different because we are starting out of position. We're going to get rid of the tyres that we're not really keen on.
That was the pull away. You'll have a bit more grip than that on the start, but we need to warm the tyres properly now. Make sure you get some heat into the brakes as well.
Practicing for turn 1 proper. I mean, if we can get that sort of turn 1, that would be awesome. But yeah, let's get ourselves back into position. Well, those guys don't seem to want to go past us, so we're going to have to literally stop on the track. And there we are back through. We get another little practice start.
No rain expected for the time being.
But it seemed like it was raining in Q3, which I think would have played into our hands. Had we go through to Q3, I think we'd have been in a really good position, but that's not the case, unfortunately. So we are going to have to be at our best here, our real best, get back into a reasonable position. I think we can get top 3. I do think we've got that sort of pace today. If not top 4, if Hamilton doesn't win the race, then at least we're not losing out on too many points, and we regroup and we come back in Russia and Brazil. But it's damage limitation today, that's for sure. Right, let's get our tyres nice and warm. Sort of neglected that part of the formation lap, but they're looking pretty good, to be honest with you. But here we come. Round the final corner as we finish the formation lap. And we are now ready.
The rest of the grid is forming up. Be patient and watch for the lights.
Here we go then. Lights out, away we go here in Italy. Lots of wheel spin off the start from this medium tyre. And we're dropping down the order like a fly here, but can we find a little route on this first corner? We take evasive action. In turn 1 there is yellow flags. But we're up to 9th, and we'll settle for that. We will certainly settle for that. We've got Nicholas Latifi having a little look around the outside, but we are closing in hot on Charles Leclerc. And we are going to have a little gander down the inside, and we managed to make it through just about and get the power down, but he is back through. And he closes the door through the Lesmos. We might have a chance into turn 1 if we can stay this close to him, but we will certainly take that for an opening lap. Nicholas Latifi having a little look. We can see him in our mirrors. Just sat there around the outside, and we go a little bit wide into Ascari, which is a pity. It is a big pity because now we've dropped off the back of Charles Leclerc, and we've got Perez and we've got Schumacher there, as well as Latifi, who'll be looking to get past us going into turn 1. But Lewis Hamilton leads after the first lap. That is brilliant for him.
Okay, you're in the top 10.
Not so good for us. It looks like the Red Bull has took the lead of the Grand Prix. It's going to be very, very tight around these first few corners, but we are okay. So if we can stay within this sort of range of the cars ahead, I think we're going to be in for a good amount of points. A huge amount of curb took by Charles Leclerc there, and that was crazy to watch. Surely he's got some damage there on the underbody, because that's what's been happening to us all weekend. That sort of confirms what I've been thinking. If the AI are doing what we've been doing as well. But he was fully airborne there. A bit tentative through there. I'm just incredibly conscious. But this time, we're going to have a good run on these guys, and Tsunoda losing it a little bit. Norris into the pits then. I'm not sure what happened there. Leclerc is going to have a little look at Gasly. Oh no, it is Tsunoda, sorry. I think we hold back here and sort of watch this unfold, as it's a big lock-up. Well, we've took a little bit of damage there. I'm not entirely sure why. Was it Latifi behind, perhaps?
The bodywork's taken a few scrapes. Try not to make it any worse.
But yeah, definitely a little bit of damage, which is gutting, really. But now we just need to try and stay on the back of these two. Save some battery for the pit straight, and perhaps we can get a good run on them. This is pretty good. So here we go, we use the rest of our battery, and of course this is going to be the lap that we come into the pits on.
In this lap, push now.
DRS enabled. Tsunoda is pushing hard with Charles Leclerc. Oh, they're side by side going into turn one. There was a little bit of contact there. We're sort of staying out of it because we know that we're going to get a massive undercut on them with our soft tyres. So that's what we have to aim for now. It looks like Latifi did perhaps make a little bit of contact with us, and that's why we've now got a little bit of bodywork damage, but doesn't seem to be affecting us too badly. Perhaps the slightest hint of understeer, but nothing unmanageable. We are losing big chunks of time to the top three. A little bit wide there. And now to think about where we are going to brake for the pit line, because there's no going back.
Pods have taken damage. Keep an eye on your engine temperature.
The side pods have taken damage now. What on earth have we done there? But we are into the pit lane for our one and only stop in this Grand Prix. Of course, we're putting the soft tyres on.
Go, go, go.
We are away, and that's a good stop. 2.8 seconds, and we should be out ahead of Norris behind, although he is going to run it pretty close here. He's going to run it pretty close.
Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now.
But we are away. That sort of shows how much time we've lost in the traffic of Tsunoda and Leclerc. But now we can push on these soft tyres, and this should be a great strategy, you would imagine. Okay then, lots of people in the pits. Where are we going to come out? You can see we're coming through now. Ahead of Perez, ahead of Schumacher, ahead of Alonso. But But there is Pierre Gasly 4 seconds ahead of us. We're not quite at the pace that I was anticipating at the moment. Perhaps it's that little bit of bodywork damage that we've got. It's causing us to be a little bit slower than that. Norris is sort of matching our pace behind, which is a bit of a problem.
The underbody's taken some damage. You may start to notice it.
Okay, so here we come through. There is Leclerc and there's Tsunoda, and we are going to manage to get the undercut on them.
We have 5 laps of fuel remaining.
Which is huge for our race, so we did manage to gain a bit of time there. We're now up to 7th. And what we'd love to do is go and catch Russell and Gasly. Now Russell on the hard tyres. Leclerc's past us. That was a really, really poor couple of corners.
Okay, we've lost a position. That's us down a place.
But you'd think we should be able to make the move on him. We are having a look in Ascari, and that was risky. But we are through, and I think we're okay.
You've taken damage to the side pods.
It's just
Expect
the
to feel
side
a little
pods
drag.
that have...
The underbody's taken a little damage. Watch out for it. No need to worry about tyre condition for now. Everything's looking good.
The underbody's damaged a little bit as well. Here we come past Sebastian Vettel. And you can see Russell and Gasly are battling up ahead. But we need to really put in some good laps here. Well, here we come on to the final lap then. We're certainly not going to be getting up to 4th place unless there is an incident between Gasly and Russell. But can we hold on to 6th, which I think would be a decent result, all things considered, especially because we've now got the damage on the car. I think that is really, really affecting us. At least it's affecting my confidence in the car. Final lap of the race. Tsunoda's possibly going to have a go at us.
It is 5.5
At
seconds.
some point, but trying to keep it on the track. Tsunoda is going to have a look into Lesmore 1. Just let him have a little bit of room, but can't make the move stick. If we can hold it into Ascari, I think we should have it solved, and that's exactly what we do. And it has been an okay performance. But here comes Tsunoda and Leclerc. The Parabolica, perhaps. It's not going to happen, and Max Verstappen wins the Italian Grand Prix. Ocon finishes 2nd, Hamilton 3rd, Gasly 4th, George Russell an excellent 5th. And we come home in 6th place.
And bring it home.
And I think we can be pretty happy with that. As I say, you know, 8 points in the bag. Okay, Hamilton's got 15. That's 7 points dropped. But, you know, it was good damage limitation. Quite literally.
After another excellent Grand Prix. Talk to me, Ants. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
I really feel the track layout combined with the track temperatures we saw today suited their car. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature, and the driver did a great job managing that as well. They just look so comfortable out there. It's like anything, it always looks so easy when it all just clicks.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everyone at the team. It's a great result for Lewis Hamilton, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. Some amazing talent out on the track today, but Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
I have to give it to the captain. They demonstrated a very delicate touch in close proximity to other cars, as well as showing a lot of maturity and patience in difficult situations.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. The lead at the top comes down after a strong weekend from the challenging pack. Meanwhile, good work from Aston Martin this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
Well, there we have it then. 18 points separate ourselves and Lewis Hamilton. It is going to be a titanic battle between us and Lewis in Russia, and of course in Brazil. You know, 2 races where lots of things could happen. We could have rain, we could have retirements, anything like that. But Lewis Hamilton is in control. It is in his hands, so to speak, as we look towards the final 2 rounds. The Red Bulls are still in it. If ourselves and Hamilton were to have an on-track collision and they were to get a 1-2, then they'd be well back in the race for the title. But you know, you would think it's between ourselves and Lewis, but no, that was a tough race. It really was. The curbs were so difficult on this visit to the track. I don't know whether it was a setup. I really have no idea, but yeah, just struggled really. But 6th place, you know, we'll take it. 8 points, a decent lap time, you know, comparable to the leaders. If you take into account the damage, I think we would have been on leaders' pace. So I suppose frustrating that we qualified 12th. That was the difference in the end, and we had to make our way through the field, and that's what got us the damage. So yeah, I guess that's what we have to look at. But good Grand Prix. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Leave a like if you did, and of course subscribe for plenty more F1 content. We've got 2 races to go in Season 5. Can we win the championship, or will Lewis Hamilton come out on top and win his 10th title? Who knows? But yeah, hopefully you're having a wonderful day. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.